is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, though?
I'm Jalen Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen Jacoby. What is it that we do, Mr.
We
Rose?
get the people.
Yes.
Whoa. What they want.
Jalen Rose, last night was the end of an era for one of the greatest duos in the history of the National Basketball Association. Dwayne Wade came into the Staples Center, played his last game against LeBron James, tried to win the game with that, tried to tie the game with that shot. LeBron James was like, I know you too well. You're not going to win. It was a wonderful event. There was a video for Dwayne Wade. It was the first time it really kind of felt a little bit like a farewell tour for Dwayne. I love this moment because I love relationships. I love friendships. What do you think the legacy of this partnership will be moving forward?
First and foremost, a kinship that is bigger than sports. And it's great to always see how basketball or professions bring people together, and all of a sudden you have a relationship that's way larger than the score of the game. Champions, teammates, one of the best duels of all time, and also the individuals that help usher in this era of super teams. People forget Pat Riley was actually the person pulling those strings.
Yep.
We, in hindsight, look at that situation like it was a LeBron James thing or a Dwayne Wade thing. Well, there had to be somebody that cleared that cap space prior.
Yes.
Okay, so I think they now gave LeBron James a championship formula and pedigree that once he got to Cleveland, allowed him to, A, take a lot of people from Miami. That was a part of that championship scenario. Also, know how to relate to Kyrie and Love, because this is what he had to deal with his peers in Wade and Bosh, and it eliminated a 50-year-plus drought in Cleveland of championship glory, because everything that he learned in Miami, he was able to bring it to Cleveland. And once he was able to achieve that there, now he can end up where he chose, and in this case, the Los Angeles Lakers.
And don't forget, when he went to Miami, they had already won a championship. Dwayne Wade was already a champion, had an amazing finals, and Pat Riley, obviously Pat Riley's got rings. And it is sort of one of the stories that, like, LeBron James, we know what happened in Cleveland. We know what happened with that final roster. We know who he carried. Shout out to Boogie Gibson. And we know what happened there. But, like, it seems like his time in Miami and his time with Wade is what helped him turn the corner, as you mentioned. But one thing I love about this duo is there's this thing from veterans like you, people that play the game a long time. Oh, back in my day, we weren't friends. We would never fraternize with the enemy because we all hated each other because we were real competitors. But what Dwayne Wade and LeBron James have proven is like, hey, just because we play against each other doesn't mean we can't be close friends. Doesn't mean that our families can't like each other. Doesn't mean we can't go on vacation. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that.
The words you just said, please save this clip, anybody that loves basketball. The words you just uttered about friendship, which now bleeds into familiarity. You have to look no further than last night. Because after the game, when Dwayne Wade tried his go-to move, and he missed it because it was tightly defensed by LeBron James, what did he say?
He said, oh, I tried my go-to move, but we played together so much, and you saw it. But is his go-to move really to turn his back to the basket from 25 feet when you need 3 points? Is that really your go-to move?
So this theory that familiarity to your opponent and having a level of friendship with the guys you're going against doesn't affect the product, it can, because of what we just said. And it did last night. Now, here's the other thing. It's a lie when people say they compete against their enemy tougher than they do against their friend. Somebody that tells you that, they don't respect you, because that's a bold-faced lie. Number two, how about this? And this is really fascinating. Both of these guys are in their 16th seasons. In their 16th season, they only played 4 together. They were in the East about 10 more years together. Never played each other in the playoffs.
Never happened once.
So if they were to play each other in the playoffs, then we don't know how that would change the relationship. Look over my right shoulder.
Yeah.
That was in the playoffs. And you know who Magic's head coach was? Pat Riley. And he didn't like it then, and he definitely don't like it now.
what do you think about the notion that they ushered in the era of super teams? Now, obviously, there were the Celtics, but, like, what do you think about the notion that they ushered in the era of super teams, these two?
So here's what they usher, and this is more of a LeBron James thing that also piggybacks this topic, is there was a big three in Boston, but it was front office driven, even though KD had to waive his no-trade clause.
That's a good point.
To put together Ray Allen and Paul Pierce.
KG, yeah.
This seemed to be player-driven because LeBron James was an MVP. So it seemed to be the first domino for the league that players started to take a level of ownership that I want to play in a situation where I choose that's going to get me closest to a championship. Therefore, people like Kevin Durant, who in 2010 frowned upon this.
Yeah, he tweeted about it.
Not only when the Heat did it, but when the Lakers did it. And he had his Twitter fingers. I assume this was his regular account. I don't think it was his regular
No, it's his real account. That's his real account.
At the time. Now, that fascinates me. Look at the teams he named. He got license plates on there.
The Heat and the Lakers.
Heat and the Lakers. Now, it didn't work with Dwight Howard and Steve Nash and Kobe Bryant and Mike D'Antoni.
How?
But he was able to take that baton and leave the Oklahoma City Thunder when they just, unlike Wade, unlike LeBron, played each other in the playoffs and lost. And joined a 73-win team. So that is a part of the legacy and kinship/friendship that goes with the greatness of one LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
You don't hear about GMs recruiting players as much as you hear about players recruiting players nowadays. And I think they had something to do with that. Now, after the game, the cameras were on them, and these are two very media-savvy people. They exchanged jerseys, and they also exchanged some words. Let's take a look.
And I'll tell you what, Miami is staying in town, so they will be doing just that.
Wait. LeBron James doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't get the things that he wants on wax are on wax, and he said it's either here or the Garden. Did LeBron James just hint that he was considering playing for the Lakers or the New York Knickerbockers in that piece of video?
Yes, during his career, when he's become a free agent, we've always speculated which large market situation LeBron would go to, not only for basketball reasons, but for his entrepreneurial spirit. Yeah. One that he's carried stronger than any great player ever while he was in the league. So where can you foster that and try to snowball it into something extremely special? Usually New York City, where he's tweeted and IG'd and called himself the king of New York and done a lot of things that made their fan base feel like he would go there. The same with Los Angeles.
Well, he mentioned the Garden, right? And I have some theories I want you to take a look at. Okay. Because it can be taken a lot of different ways. And I dug deep into this. So you take a look here. He could be talking about Madison Square Garden, right? The mecca of basketball, the world's most famous arena, greatest place to see a basketball game. He could also be talking about the TD Garden, playing for the Celtics. But I have a theory. I think that he was actually talking about Olive Garden. The breadsticks, unlimited salad, they love wine. I really think he was talking about Olive Garden. These two frequent Olive Garden. Think about that. We know they love wine. They've got an extensive wine list there. And the undeniable garlic breadsticks. I think that the media, the sports media is so quick to jump to conclusions that they're talking about Madison Square Garden. But we know on this show, they were talking about the real OG, the original OG, the Olive Garden. Do you agree with that theory?
I don't agree with that theory, but it's really funny.
Okay. Well, do what all of this did, this whole, the last hurrah for Dwayne and LeBron, it's taken over. But really what it is, it's overshadowing something that's very important that's happening to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lance effect. Lance Stevenson, the way that he changes the team. Just watch this clip, Jalen Rose. Jalen, watch this. Just watch this from Lance.
Caldwell Pope, short, straight, gets his own rebound. Lonzo, what a pass, and then Lance doesn't shoot it. Lance was there to lay it in after a brilliant pass from Lonzo. Now Lance returns the favor. Not a good decision by Lonzo. They were going full showtime there.
Yeah,
and it didn't work.
They should pay a price for that.
And they did.
That serves them right.
They absolutely did. Lonzo made a great pass. Lance didn't shoot it. Then he returned the favor, and Zoe made a mistake, and that look says it all.
So here's the thing, is you see Lance here, why take a good shot when you can give up for a great shot? Lance, outlet, push the tempo. Lonzo, that's the Lance effect. That pass right there is the Lance effect. Also the Lance effect, that look on Luke Walton's face. Lance Stevenson changes basketball teams. The Lance effect is why the Lakers have been playing so well lately. Do you agree?
I disagree.
What?
He can't be a productive player, and they're going to need him as a rotation guy to actually make good decisions and be more efficient when he gets his opportunities. But turnovers, as well as unselfish plays, do snowball. And that was a perfect example of that. And also, when you're right underneath the hoop and somebody gives you a dime, you got to finish it.
What are you talking about?
You got to finish it.
What do you mean?
Zoe
have a Lance tattoo on my buttocks, as Jalen Rose just said. Just want to make that very clear. Sometimes people think the things that we say in the microphones are true. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, Steph Curry and Jalen Rose have something in common that will surprise you. It's not a jump shot.
Name a word that people use to avoid swearing.
Mother Scruncher.
Yes. I've never, ever in my life, ever heard the term mother scruncher, ever before.
Name a word that people use to avoid swearing.
What about anus?
Coming to you live from the Heineken River Deck here on Pier 17. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, it is time for news that matters. Big shout to the Podfather.
No doubt.
At The Ringer, they have added a new podcast called Winging It, hosted by Vince Carter and Kent Bazemore. And on that podcast, they had guests, Andre Iguodala and Steph Curry. And they said something that I literally cannot believe. Let's listen.
We ever been to the moon?
Nope.
They gonna come get us. I don't think so either. I'm conspiracy. Sorry, I don't want to start a conspiracy. They ain't been on the moon.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
Jalen Rose, please, just please tell me that you believe that human beings landed on the moon.
I'm with Steph and AI on this one.
I knew it.
I'm with them on this one.
Okay, if you're going to say, you've seen the footage.
Let me tell you this.
There's footage.
I see a lot of footage that gets doctored. I see a lot of footage.
Look at that
that's
footage.
Not necessarily accurate.
So
or
you're,
an
so
a
this
great
is a sound
depiction.
studio? This is a sound studio? That's what you're saying? This is directed by Martin Scorsese?
All right. Here's the thing.
Photoshop in 1968?
How many years ago was that? 50 years, right? So if we were making that level of progress 50 years ago, this is when people barely were watching television, when it was not in color, it's black and white. Okay, this was segregation was taking place in our country.
What makes you think that we were not on the moon?
Where's the progress?
Okay. Jalen, I went on a cruise once. You know what I'm not doing again? Going on a cruise. They went up to the moon, put a flag up. There's nothing there. Why make the return trip?
Taking place in our country.
What makes you think that we were not on the moon?
Where's the progress?
Okay, Jalen, I went on a cruise once. You know what I'm not doing again? Going on a cruise. They went up to the moon. Why make the return trip? Allen? You call my man Allen a liar? Look at the camera and call Allen a liar again. I dare you.
I love you, Allen. I'm not calling you a liar.
Yes, you are.
I'm just saying that there's a reason why he studied astrology and I studied mass communications. Like, I don't foresee.
Astrology?
Oh, yeah, astronomy.
Okay.
Astronomy.
Okay.
I don't foresee something 50 years ago still being visible and tangible like it was left there and it's been 5 decades. I just don't see it. If that was the case, we might as well start living there.
He said, what makes you think that we were not on the moon?
Where's the progress?
Okay, Jalen, I went on a cruise once. You know what I'm not doing again? Going on a cruise. They went up to the moon, put a flag up. There's nothing there. Why make the return trip? So now you think Allen, you call my man Allen a liar? Look at the camera and call Allen a liar again. I dare you.
What about food? And how many people can actually do this? Like, here's the other thing.
Jalen.
Like, how many people, if they had the opportunity...
Do you think you sound smart right now to our audience?
I don't care.
That's a good point.
How many people, if they had the opportunity, would get in a space shuttle and go to the moon?
I would say 1 out of 1,000.
Okay.
It's just a bad idea.
And 1 out of 1,000?
I don't even like flying to Los Angeles.
What about 1 in 100 million?
I don't like flying to Los Angeles. I'm not doing that. And you got to train. You got to train forever. I'm not doing that. First of all, I want to apologize to Allen. We called him Allen. His name's Allard.
Come on, man.
Shout out to Allard. Allard, I'll go look at those moon rocks if Steph and Jalen won't. Moving on. They had a game on Monday Night Football last night. I stayed up for it.
I did too.
Because it had playoff implications. I was expecting a show. I didn't get a show.
Not a show.
I didn't get a show. I got a whack game.
A defensive show.
Nah, it wasn't a defensive show. Like that, the Bears put on a defensive show. This was a boring game between the Vikings and the Seahawks, with the Seahawks eventually winning. Now, this morning, I thought the discussion would be about Kirk Cousins. I thought the discussion would be about the Seahawks coming together at the right time in the playoffs. But no. Do you know what the national discussion is about? It's about this play, where Wagner jumps over people and blocks a field goal. They would have won the game regardless, so I don't know why everybody's up in arms about this. They threw a flag and then eventually ate the flag. What do you think about the decision to not call this as a penalty?
It's a blown call. It's a missed opportunity. It's something that the officials will get reprimanded for. It's something, if it happens in the future, likely will get penalized, so players shouldn't get enthusiastic about the fact that it wasn't called. I'm impressed by the way Pete Carroll reinvented his team. How they're not the Legion of Boom anymore. However, they still have Bobby Wagner playing at an all-pro level.
Well, he's about the only defensive player left. Yeah.
Frank Clark is probably their best defensive player.
Goal line stand.
And here's the one thing I want to say about their secondary, in particular their safeties. Them pads be thumping. Like them boys be hitting. And so, like, for them to have a win streak at this point of the season after the way they've started, and obviously have an elite quarterback in Russell Wilson, it's really been impressive.
And take a look at where they are in the playoff picture right now, because they've really worked themselves into the middle of it. They're right in the thick of the NFC. They're leading in the wild card. They've got a lock on that wild card, and it really seems like it's those 5 teams you see on the left side of the screen, and then the, 6 teams on the right side of the screen, just trying to get in.
Well, that's what the playoffs matchups are going to be, right there. Just take a picture of that. Those are the teams that's going to be in.
Oh, you think
Minnesota and the Vikings
are locked in?
Get those wild card spots.
I could see that. Jalen, sometimes when you're on the internet, you're on your phone, you click the Instagram icon or the Twitter icon, things get socially awkward. They're about to do right now. Le'Veon Bell. Look at that. Liked by Le'Veon Bell. Oh, what's this Instagram post that he liked? Oh, just the final score of the game of the Steelers losing to the Raiders. Jalen, do you support this behavior?
I support this behavior.
You support this behavior. Interesting.
I've been traded before.
Uh-huh.
And guess what happens when I go to another team?
Makes you feel bad?
I'm not rooting for my old squad. And if he gets a chance to throw shade in the process, you do it.
If you get traded, you feel a certain way about the people that traded you, the people that decided they don't want you on the team anymore.
Or if they don't pay me, I feel worse.
Then they don't pay you, but fine. But Le'Veon Bell made a conscious decision not to be a teammate of these people.
Well, in his estimation, they made a conscious decision not to pay me. Therefore, they forced my hand, thinking that I'm going to play for $14 million in a franchise tag, and everybody thinks I'm going to cave week 10. Kiki, ha. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to wait till this offseason when I know there are going to be suitors. And let me just say it to a microphone.
What are you going to say to a microphone?
For the second time where I think he's going to end up playing, potentially. The Colts.
Colts. Huh.
Alongside Andrew Luck.
If that would happen, I would like that team more than the Steelers at the beginning of next season.
See?
If that were to happen, I would like that team with that group and that offensive line more than the Steelers to begin the season next year. And I know that he would love to match up against the Steelers.
Well, I just saw this happen with Eric Ebron, a former Lion. I knew he was going to ball because Andrew Luck gets tight ends involved.
Let's not start comparing the Lions to the Steelers, please. Let's not do that. You already said that the humans weren't on the moon. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby.
If they were there quick.
The Chicago Bulls have contacted the Players Association. We'll give you the details right after this. Wednesday night, the Thunder head into New Orleans to take on the Pelicans. That starts at 8 o'clock. And then after that, you can watch two of the best teams in the NBA leading the conferences. The Toronto Raptors taking on the Golden State Warriors at 10:30. I'm staying up for that one, Jalen Rose. And on ESPN Plus, you can watch More Than an Athlete. It is a documentary about LeBron James, Randy Mims, Rich Paul, and Maverick Carter all coming together and building a brand and much more. Every morning, come on, get up.
You don't know.
They'll talk about Rivers versus Mahomes. They're going to talk about the draft class coming into the NFL and, of course, the preview of the Raptors-Warriors game on ESPN at 10:30 on Wednesday night. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, when I saw this headline, I said, I need to talk to Jalen about this because I never played in the NBA. I've never been in the locker room. I don't know how these things work. The Chicago Bulls, we told you yesterday, they were considering not practicing the Sunday after a back-to-back when they lost by 56 points. They ended up going to practice, having a players-only meeting and a team meeting. Now we have new information. They told Yahoo Sports that the Bulls players have contacted the Players Association about new coach Jim Boylan's extreme tactics, saying that he did things like, made them practice for a long time, made them do push-ups, made them do extra sprints, and also made them practice after back-to-backs. And he twice subbed out all 5 players at once. Is this a case of the Bulls players being soft or Jim Boylan not understanding how to motivate his team?
Jim Boylan has been around the league for a really long time, and this is not a good look for the Bulls players because each cause has an effect. And when you get beat by 50-plus points, there's going to be a reaction.
That's a good point.
That's just how this goes.
Don't get beat by 56.
I don't care if it's after a back-to-back. I don't care if we play 5 games in 5 days. There's going to be a reaction from a guy who's now the interim that hopes to keep the job.
They actually didn't even put the interim label on him.
And so, correct, because there's no need to put it on him. Because if they go undefeated the rest of the year, he's going to be their coach.
Be the coach, yeah.
Okay, that's just how this works. And so, you can never look good as a performer when you're losing if you are trying to paint the picture that it's too difficult. The practice is too hard. The
push-ups part I thought was weird. It was like, wait, made you do push-ups?
Hey, man, let me tell you something. It's just what happens. Okay? We lost a game in high school. We were undefeated. And guess what we did when we got back to the school? We practiced. That's just how this goes. And so, again, it's unique for the Bulls when you look at their roster for a team that seems to be tanking, but the parts don't fit for one that should be. Lopez is a veteran. Levine has a big contract. They brought in Jabari on a big contract. Portis has been there under a different regime. Markkanen has shown terrific promise as a young player. Dunn was a lottery pick. So when you have these guys, you hope to be building towards something, not stop trying for Zion, which we see. This is why, and I'll say it on our program, The Bulls should consider their next head coach
Say it
to
again.
be Juwan Howard.
I can't wait till that happens. Big shout out to Juwan Howard.
He's experienced. He's learning under the best in one of the best in Eric Spoelstra. He's a champion, and he just so happens to be a Chi-Town native.
The team on the other end is winning games, 5 in a row, heading into this one against the Pelicans, the Boston Celtics. However, they headed into this game without Kyrie Irving, without Gordon Hayward, and without Horford. They're all-stars. What'd they do? They won. They've now won 6 in a row. Is this the real Celtics that we're seeing?
These are the real Celtics that we're seeing, and let me tell you about the dynamics of the team. Oh, the All-Stars ain't playing tonight? Cool!
Marcus Morris is ready to fire him up.
Oh, my goodness. You mean 2 of those guys we actually made to the conference finals without? Oh, that's regular season game in December? Playground style. Marcus Morris out there getting his 30.
Yep.
Tatum getting his 20. Jalen Brown getting attempts off the bench. Everybody gets a chance to feel good about their role because there's more minutes to be divided.
It's a great point. And finally, we have the Sixers. They played your Detroit Pistons. They beat the Pistons. The Pistons started hot. But this is about the Sixers, and this is what's important. Jimmy Butler left the game with a groin injury. They ended up winning the game. Joel Embiid kind of got himself back on track. Do you think there's a correlation between Joel Embiid getting back on track and Jimmy Butler being off the floor?
I don't think there's a correlation there. I think these are both intelligent basketball players along with Ben Simmons. And you enter a unique phase as an athlete that participates in team sports because you always have to draw the dynamic of, do I want to win under any terms or do I want to win by all means necessary? Mm-hmm. And you always hear people talk about wanting to win. Newsflash, people who don't work hard want to win.
Of course, everyone wants
to win.
Okay?
But what are you willing to sacrifice? And this comment, I think it was more emotional than truly how Joel Embiid feels. So I'm not going to come down really hard on him. But here's what you cannot do. First off, not having Jimmy Butler, they were a pretender. Mm-hmm. They lost to the Celtics without Kyrie. You add Jimmy, you're a contender. You're legitimate. But on your only day off, like Craig and Friday of the year, they win in Detroit. That ain't the time to complain about your role.
No.
That is not the time for that. The approach will make some people feel like, is he being selfish? So what he has to do is earn a headband. You know how you do that? On Philadelphia? Lockdown on D. And I've noticed 2 people are wearing them. Butler and Simmons. That's an internal message to the rest of the guys.
I like that. Well, we'll keep an eye on the headbands, the headgear over there in Philadelphia. Right now, we have to talk about something that's a little sensitive to me. You know, I have to open up and be vulnerable, and giving my whole self to this program is just part of the process. Last week wasn't a great week for me. We had the honor of having Meek Mill here, and after the Meek Mill interview, naturally, I just wanted to thank him for his time here, so I gave him a little handshake.
You were just going hitchhiking.
It didn't go great. He grabbed my thumb. You know, we adjusted. We ended up getting there, but I was a little embarrassed about it. And, of course, our friends at High Noon had to make this video, put it on the internet, and now everyone wants to talk to me about it, okay? 2 days later, we had Deontay Wilder on the show. And I was so focused not to repeat that. If you don't grow from your mistakes, if you don't learn as a human being, then really who are you? So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to mess that one up again. Let's take a look.
Oh, Jacob!
I messed it up again.
You did and knew it.
I messed it up again. If you look, he was going for the thumb grip and then the finger grip, and I left him on the finger grip. See how you did both? I only got half a handshake.
And you got to have a little soul. Watch the head nod we got, too. Why we got the look?
Oh, wow. The simultaneous head nod. See, Jalen, I don't think I'm ever going to touch another human being again.
You know what?
I got PTSD from last week.
You know what?
I'm not touching anybody anymore.
I got breaking news.
What's the breaking news?
This need to be at the bottom of the ticker on ESPN, on every sports outlet.
What's up?
Here's what has happened. We've been doing this program for almost 8 years. Mm-hmm. And I have people coming up to me all of the time. And this is a question that they ask. Now you guys know, because we come on at 2 o'clock on ESPN2.
What do they know?
David Jacoby's a white guy.
Oh, definitely a white guy. That's just proof.
And it's okay.
That's just proof. You know what? During that, when we have a guest next time, you're going to have to ask every single question because I'm just be staring at their right hand the entire time, just waiting. I'm just be staring at their right hand the entire time, just waiting for my opportunity. And I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right next time, I promise. And if I don't, I'll try again next time. That's all we can do.
But you know what a handshake could never give you that you got, my brother? Soul.
That means a lot to me. Thank you, Jalen Rose. We'll be back after this. Soft mover, boss move. Celebrating like a 5-year-old.
Soft move.
What?
Soft move.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man.
You want to be tough? Yo, chest bump. Good job, DeAndre. This gets me more pumped.
What about giving a two-handed high five when the other guy only has one? That's how they looked.
Oh,
That's a soft move.
Two-handed high five.
When he did this, he went to give DeAndre dap. DeAndre did this.
You just play me like Meek Mill played me.
I'm trying to show you.
I'm never giving anybody
I'm trying to
a
give you some.
congratulatory
Watch this.
handshake.
Watch DeAndre. I watch for things like this.
Okay,
man.
what do you see?
Look.
That wasn't good. That wasn't good. That wasn't good. That was very Meek Mill, David Jacoby right there. I like that though. I'm gonna start doing that every
That's
time.
how you
every time you make a good point.
When you
I'm gonna start doing
first
that.
got your first
Jalen Rose.
Beastie Boys album.
You're gonna love this one, Jalen Rose. You're gonna love this one. Here is what Giannis had to say about why he doesn't work out in the summer with other top NBA players. He said this, quote, "I can't work out with you in the summer and then play you in a few months. It feels weird. It doesn't feel right with me. Like other players, it's cool for other players, but I don't. I don't want to. Other guys do it." Jalen, I know all you old Grizzly veterans that like the way that it was back in my day are loving this quote.
So for me, it's a difference between working out
Summer with other top NBA players. He said this, quote, "I can't work out with you in the summer and then play you in a few months. It feels weird. It doesn't feel right with me. Like other players, it's cool for other players, but I don't. I don't.
got bottled up. Said, oh, he knew what was coming. That
So,
familiarity.
You never played at UCLA in 5-on-5 runs?
Yes.
You never did that? You never
Yes.
played in those games
Yes.
with players that
Yes.
are currently in the league that
Yes.
you're going to play against? Tripping over himself. And after he scored that touchdown, what did he do? He just was so wrapped up in his emotions, he threw that historic football from that miracle in Miami into the crowd. Well, now he wants it back, and let's watch him make a plea.
I threw the ball in the stands, and I would love to have it back, but we can make a trade. I got cleats, I got gloves, I got a jersey, and I even got tickets. Just let me know.
So, I've got a historic football from one of the greatest moments in the history of the Dolphins franchise. And you're going to give me some laundry and some tickets? Lowballing the person that has your historic football, soft move or boss move?
Double laterals to win a game, boss move. The way he ran past Gronk.
Boss
but that
move.
video,
That?
soft
You got to
move.
go bigger than that.
So let me just tell you how you get it done.
Okay.
I got one word for you.
You're just starting the negotiations.
You want me to get the negotiations going for you?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Cash. 100,000.
Thank you. That's
That
the
gets it
value of
done.
this football.
That gets
oh,
it
you want
done.
tickets? Season tickets for how many years? You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about, give me some cleats and a jersey? What are you talking? Come on. Come on, Drake. Come on, KD. I need more than that. If I had that football and I was on my couch and I saw that video, I would laugh. I wouldn't even reach out. I wouldn't even reach out. I would be like, no. I'm not responding to that first offer. I need to hear a second offer
Well,
before I
there's a
respond.
reason why he did a video. One word for you.
You're just starting the negotiations.
You want me to get the negotiations going for you?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Cash. 100,000.
Thank you. That's
That
the
gets it
value of
done.
this football.
That gets
Oh, you want tickets? Season tickets for how many years? You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about, give me some cleats and a jersey? What are you talking about? Come on, Drake. Come on, KD. I need more than that. If I had that football and I was on my couch and I saw that video, I would laugh. I wouldn't even reach out. I wouldn't be like, no. I'm not responding to that first offer. I need to hear a second offer before I respond.
Well, there's a reason why he did it.
In my opinion, pound for pound, the best boxer out. He just doesn't lose. You can't hit him. He's always in control. Like, he does not get hit when he's in the ring. We had the pleasure of having him on our air on Saturday night, and he dominated Pedraza. He did. However, it went 12 rounds. He doesn't knock everybody out all the time. But there was a bettor at Flamingo Sportsbook that put down $1,000 on Lomachenko. And because of the odds, guess how much that bettor won? $14.30. Betting $1,000 to win $14. Soft move or boss move?
Soft move. That return on investment isn't worth it.
Doesn't sound like
You're better off walking past one of the games that you do or don't know how to play in Vegas. Blackjack, roulette, whatever. Just dropping it down there and see what you can
and seeing
get.
what happens. Exactly, because betting $1,000, anything can happen in a fight. Anything can happen. It's not a 7-game NBA series where the best team most likely wins. Like, anything can happen at any moment.
This is a perfect example of why I don't bet on sports. Because I knew Lomachenko was coming off an injury. And I knew that it was going the distance. I felt because of that injury, he wouldn't have what it took to knock out his opponent. And I'm happy I wasn't watching that fight because I bet 8th round, 9th round, 10th round. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? I could just sit back, microwave, hot sake, red wine, ESPN, and not even think about it twice.
I just like the idea of you microwaving your sake, which I know you do, and then also having red wine and just switching between the two. You're my favorite. You're my favorite person in the world. Popcorn, red wine, and sake. This. Yeah, I know how you get down. Finally, there's a 9-year-old girl in Canada, and she called 911. They get there. They get to the home. Popcorn, red wine, and sake. This. Yeah, I know how you get down. Finally, there's a 9-year-old girl in Canada, and she called. Called 911. They get there. They get to the home. Popcorn, red wine, and sake. This. Yeah, I know how you get down. Finally, there's a 9-year-old girl in Canada, and she called there. They called. They get there. They get to the home. Popcorn, red wine, and sake. This. Yeah, I know how you get down. Finally, there's a 9-year-old girl in Canada, and get there. They get to the home. For their troubles are what player you think they're going to bring in to solve all their problems. We'll tell you exactly who that player is.
Carmelo Anthony.
After this. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, I believe in Daryl Morey. I really do. Probably because it's the only GM I've actually talked to and knows my name or whatever. But I believe in Daryl Morey. I just think he's really smart, and the Rockets put together such a great team last year. The defensive changes that they made, their improvements, they were so fun to watch. And James Harden is a maestro with the basketball. I didn't think the Chris Paul thing was going to work. It obviously worked last year. But there's some news from our friend Mark Stein that I don't necessarily believe in. Let's take a look at what Steiny Mo tweeted. He tweeted this. The Rockets have expressed exploratory interest in acquiring J.R. Smith According to league sources, Smith is currently on hiatus from the Cavaliers as Cleveland seeks a new home for the veteran shooting guard via trade. Mr. Rose, I've watched the Rockets this year, and I do not believe that the solution to the problems that the Rockets have is adding J.R. Smith. Why do you think Daryl Morey, D'Antoni, and this brain trust would say, do you know what we really need to do? Get J.R. Smith.
We talked about it on this program. Getting JR or Kyle Korver from the
team last year, the defensive changes that they made, their improvements, they were so fun to watch. Daryl Morey, I really do. Probably because it's the only GM I've actually talked to and knows my name or whatever. But I believe in Daryl Morey.
We talked about it on this program. Getting JR or Kyle Korver from the
team last year, the defensive changes that they made, their improvements, they were so fun to watch. Daryl Morey, I really do. Probably because it's the only GM I've actually talked to and knows my name or whatever. But I believe in Daryl Morey. Look at his numbers this year. This season is his worst points per game, his worst three-point percentage, and his worst free throw percentage, which doesn't really mean that much. But look at the bottom one. 4 years, $160 million, average just under. Jalen Rose, do you think they will regret signing this contract?
I don't think they'll regret. Point of he doesn't become a guy whose usage has to be as high this year as it was last year. Get somebody else that could take some pressure off of him. Somebody else that could take the pressure off James so that they're fresher come playoff time. When a guy's injured in the playoffs, then he's injured at the start of the season, that proves my theory.
Jalen, I have some really sad news about a power couple that we've covered extensively on this program. There is a woman in Ireland, and she got married to a pirate, and that pirate was a 300-year-old ghost. And
pirate?
Yeah.
Ghost?
Yeah. This couple, I have sad news. Looks like they're headed for a breakup. And the woman had this to say about the relationship and life in general. Amanda said, I will explain all in due course, but for now, all I want to say is be very careful when dabbling in spirituality. It's not something to mess with. Jalen Rose, can you imagine that this relationship between a pirate ghost and a current living human being in Ireland didn't work out?
I'm not surprised, but I support love. And I support people.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to go this way.
At being
great show,
best,
Jalen. Great show.
I'm not
version of themselves. I'm not falling for that.
You got to give the people